You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Although Hidden Traps is not officially released until August 1st, you can pre-order your paperback or ebook copy now from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 2687.
Unicorns dancing on rain.
And welcome to Foo Bar, One Nation Under Foo, and I'm your host, the lovely, the charming, the wonderful, the Foo. And we are coming to you live from Bunny Studios on KLRNradio.com, where liberty and reason still reign. I'm laughing at myself being way too damn professional, and I knew I'd screw that up because I was reading it. Damn it. And welcome to the show, guys. I'm so glad you're here. Oh, my goodness, you people in the chat room. You know, usually I go into this little tirade or whatever about now, but I got to go out here and tell you good people, you psychos in the chat, that you have broken a bunny record in the chat room. So pat yourselves on the back. You are at 34 people in chat. Before this, my record was 33. Oh, now we're at 35, but don't be nervous, Road Beer, who is my guest, coming on in about 20 minutes or so. So we're live, as you can tell, and you're in the chat room, and way to go, Psychos, Musket said. Thanks, guys, and thanks, Psychos, for being here. You know, what's funny is I'm talking about being in the Bunny studio. And a long time ago, when I first started doing this, back in the old days, my studio was my bedroom. And I'd lock the door, and I would sit in there with my little crappy headset and my little crappy laptop and talk for like an hour. But that meant that I was still kind of mom at that time because, you know, mom's bedroom isn't a studio. Well, at least let's hope not. And so nobody throws up in the hallway anymore, except, you know, that really did happen once. True story. I guess when you're a conservative woman and you have a family and you have a job and you do some crazy radio show, that people get to really look at what women are like on the right. I was on the air. Luckily, I didn't have a guest. I think I was just rambling about something because that's what I typically do. And my son decided that he was going to throw up right outside my bedroom door. And, you know, good times. I actually cut the show short because also in conservative radio, you have producers who understand that you got to go be mom. Funny stuff, right? So it's been a long time. I am in my Bunny studios, and talking about conservative women kind of brings up my first topic. And my first topic is the Women's March and the NRA. Nonsense. You know, they've been attacking Dana Loesch for, I don't know, what, a week and a half since that ad came out, and they decided that they took issue with the violence in the NRA ad because, you know, the Women's March is so peaceful and loving. Yeah, these women are awful. You know, and it kind of brings up the whole Linda Sarsour thing. The woman called for jihad on Donald Trump. You know, I get it. I'm not a huge fan of Donald Trump. I think most people who know me understand that I'm not the president of his fan club, and I didn't vote for the man. I think like many other Republicans and conservatives, though, I'm willing to give him a shot and try to say, hey, you did a great job when he does something good and not be too much of a bitch when he does something wrong. But I would never, even when I hated him the most during the primary, I would never have called for a jihad of any sort. And all these people in the media saying, oh, you don't really know what jihad means. She didn't mean a totally violent thing. It's an internal struggle. Yeah, right. Sure it is. She knew exactly what she was doing, guys. She knew exactly how Americans would take that term. She knew what she was doing. She is nothing more than a high-level troll, just like the rest of the Women's March. Because what are they freaking protesting? What do women not have? Help me figure this out. Because I really think women in America have it better than women almost anywhere else in the world. You know, if they really want to work on women's issues, go to the Middle East. And that's what kills you about Linda Sarsour. She knows how absolutely horrid women have it in the Middle East. And she wants to bring that crap here with Sharia. What was the tweet she talked about when she said, hey, we don't have any credit card debt because the government pays that for us. No, we can't drive a car, but we don't have any debt. Yay. What was the other thing? It was also like all these paid weeks of maternity leave. Because how many of these women in the Middle East have jobs, right? I'm sure the government's happy to pay them a ton of money to be baby machines because that's how they see them. But that's somehow empowerment for Linda to come over to the United States of America and lecture us about what it means to be a woman, what it means to be empowered. She makes me nuts. And now she's whining because people are pissed at her for calling for a jihad on the president. She's on social media crying about how people are threatening her family and how she has it so awful and she's going to sue people and make them pay. I'm just like, lady, get a grip. Who do you think you are? But, you know, she's indicative of that mindset on the left, that mindset that cost them the election. Because it wasn't that Donald Trump was, I'm sorry, he just wasn't this great of a candidate. It's that Hillary Clinton was just that bad and their ideas were even worse. And she is indicative of that. And so is the Women's March. They make me insane. You know, I think there are a lot of conservative women out there. And next week on the show, I'm going to have two misfits on the show. Mo and JR are going to come on from the Misfits. We're going to talk about conservative women issues on that show, so I won't go too far this show. But I got to tell you, it is irritating as hell watching these women talk about how they think they understand what we want, what our rights are, that we have different rights than men. It is beyond irritating, and it is beyond insulting. And Linda wonders why we get so mad at her. You know, the thing that was really the worst, well, in my mind, there was a tweet today that they were talking about, they're accusing the NRA of deliberately creating violence between white people and black people, and basically saying that the NRA was scaring white people so bad that they needed to have guns to protect themselves from the evil, scary black people. And like most of us know, the NRA was founded for what? To help protect recently freed slaves. It was all about how can we protect these people from the frickin' Democrats. It's always been about Democrats trying to hurt the little person, trying to own the little person. And they don't get it. And now they try and lecture the right about these things, about racism, about sexism, about all these things that they're guilty of. You know, they always say people project their own behavior. Like if someone's really paranoid that you're going to cheat on them, they're cheating on you or whatever. And I think that's what we're seeing with the Democrats, is they are super paranoid that we're going to do what they've been doing. And so they accuse us of it. That, and they think people are really stupid. I mean, I think we all know that. Their whole idea around human nature is that we're all just too stupid to figure out what we can do for ourselves. And so what they do is they go out and they make laws and they build government because they don't think we can take care of ourselves. And they want the government to tell us how to think and how to live because they know best. And they make me crazy. And I know I get on this tangent because I've been reading this crap all day. And I've been writing about Linda Sarsour, and I've been following her for a few months. And the woman is awful. Any woman who would go out and support female genital mutilation because it's part of her faith and then want to take away the vaginas of women who disagree with her has no business out there talking about women's rights. Period. The end. Oh, my God. And I have a note here to myself. Also about Hillary Clinton and her Nasty Women t-shirt that she and Samantha Bee are, I guess, selling to help raise money for Planned Parenthood. Which on one hand, I'm totally cool with because that's how it's supposed to work, right? The government shouldn't be giving these horrible bitches money. No. People who want to give those horrible bitches money can give them their own private money. The government should be saying, hey, none of our business. That's how it's supposed to work. So I'm cool with these two bitches raising money for those other bitches. I'm good with that. But what's funny is the t-shirt, it says nasty women or nasty woman, whichever one it is. And the reason I keep saying bitch so much is because I was teasing Rick before I got on the air. And I said, hey, can I say bitch on the air? Because my husband says we should start calling that t-shirt, we should stop saying they're nasty women. We should start calling them dirty bitches, which I think is really funny. And I'm sure if someone on the left heard me say that, they're going to be out there on Twitter saying how I'm violent against women or I'm sexist or I'm, self-hating internal misogyny or whatever crap they're going to tell me. I thought that was really funny. And, again, they want to do it that way? Great. Raise your money because we're going to defund you. And that is one of the few things I think that I'm most excited about with Donald Trump. Again, I said, hey, I'm going to give him credit. And one of the credit things is I think eventually they're going to be out of money when it comes to the government. I do think that's going to happen. God, I hope that happens. Because if the Republicans who have the majority control can't defund them now, they never are going to get it done. So in the back of my mind, I have to accept it's going to get done. It has to get done. It better get done because, damn it, we've been asking for it. And they ran on it and they promised us it would get done. So it better get done. Right? Right. I'm going to look at you guys in the chat really quick. Oh, my God, there are 40 of you psychos in the chat. Hello, chat room. How are you tonight? Really quick, I'm going to take a short break. And then when I get back, I'll do this week's top 10 douchebags. And then we'll take another break, and we'll try and get a hold of Road Beer out on the donkey.
Highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Although Hidden Traps is not officially released until August 1st, you can pre-order your paperback or ebook copy now from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
And we're back. You're here live on KLRN Radio with FooBar, One Nation Under Foo. And we've been talking about bitches. And now we're going to talk about douchebags. And thank you in the chat room, whoever said from bitches to douchebags. That was really funny. You gave me a great line to come back into. If you're not familiar with the FooBar show, shame on you. But if you're not, every week we do what's called the top 10 douchebags. And what this basically is we go out into social media and we ask people who follow me or the show or who follow people who follow me who they think we should nominate as top 10 douchebags. And typically what this also does is it gives people who listen to the show an opportunity to be part of the show. Plus, it makes my job a hell of a lot easier. And we all know it's all about me. So this week, I have 10 good ones. Are you guys ready? We really do. Rick, we need an effect there, like some top 10 douchebags of the week or something. Okay, anyway, number 10 is Chelsea Manning. Oh, guys, suddenly Chelsea Manning is an economic wizard. Have you guys seen her, him, it, whatever? Have you seen them on Twitter talking about taxes, that rich people need to pay more taxes, even though they pay 90% of all federal taxes, they need to pay more, and that somehow we're all slaves being forced to work in this, wage labor prison camp, or I don't know. She's nuts. He's nuts, whatever. It's nuts. I don't know if, I guess when you have committed treason against your country and decide you're going to be a chick when you've been a dude, somehow that also makes you an economic expert. I don't know these things. Funny side note, I did actually write about Ben Shapiro just destroyed Chelsea Manning on basically said, hey, you're a lunatic. And I wrote about that because I love covering Shapiro, and Chelsea Manning retweeted the story. So, yeah, that was one of the highlights of my week. Yay! And Chelsea Manning, you're a douchebag at number 10. Number 9 is Krispy Kreme Chris Christie. Say that 5 times fast. Chris Christie keeps making the list. If he's not sitting on a beach getting photographed and getting photoshopped in hysterical memes, he's screwing up radio interviews and acting like a complete buffoon, not to mention he's got horrible, horrible approving ratings in his state. I think since he sold his political soul back in 2016, people have just kind of lost respect for him, and I think it's eating away at him. The person who nominated Krispy Kreme, Chris Christie, didn't give me any explanation, but I thought, you know what, he deserves to be on the list at number 9. So he is a douchebag. Congratulations. At number 8 is the Women's March. Can you tell I'm ticked off at these people? Yeah, they made the list. And we talked about them for quite a bit at the beginning of the show, so I think you have a pretty good idea of why they're on the list at number 8. I think it's interesting to say a whole organization can be a douchebag, and they're really good at being a douchebag because they keep making the list in one way or another. For me, there's no explanation given, and I think I gave enough of one earlier, but I'll tell you this. Women's March would probably not like being called a douchebag, so make sure you let them know if you see them in social media that they made the douchebag list at number 8. Number 7 is Tariq Nasheed. If you don't know who Tariq is, he is a so-called activist on Twitter who is kind of like Black Lives Matter on steroids. He thinks if you're a white person, you're automatically a white supremacist. Apparently his website looks like his logo looks like the swastika symbol, like inverted or something. I missed most of that. And I'll tell you what, when I went to his site to actually look at it, the site wasn't working. So I don't know if he got freaked out that people were angry at him for putting them on a list. Yeah, he started building this list of white supremacists, and there were people, and I can't remember the guy's name. I saw him on Twitter. He's like, "You're going to get me killed. Put me on this list, man. This isn't true." So he was just putting people on a list. So we put Tariq Nasheed on a list of douchebags at number 7. At number 6 is Joe Scarborough. Yeah, Joe. Morning, Joe. Joe's leaving the Republican Party, and boo frickin' who. Honestly, I kind of didn't even realize he was a Republican. I mean, you see it. Oh, he's a Republican. He loves Donald Trump. No, he never came off to me as a Republican. I always thought that he was a liberal at the very least, or a progressive. So I was like, oh, I didn't even know you were here. It's kind of like that moment in Tombstone when Doc Holliday looks over and goes, "Oh, Johnny, I forgot you were there. You may go." That's how I feel about Joe, and he's number 6 on this week's Top 10 Douchebags. From my producer sent me a message on the website for Tariq. He says, unconfirmed rumor is he was using the site to collect credit card info and he got popped for it. Oh, see, I don't know everything. So the website Tariq had up, the reason it might be gone is he was taking people's credit card information on it. Well, I'm not surprised by that at all. So he's a double douchebag. All right, and number 5 is John Podesta. Now, John Podesta apparently is making this cross-country vacation with his wife, and they were at some gas station in Colorado, and he just happened to talk to people about Donald Trump. If John Podesta came up to me and wanted to talk to me about Donald Trump, I probably would knock him out because, of course, it's John Podesta, but who does that? Hey, stranger pumping gas, let's talk politics. Yeah, stick it up your ass. I don't know you. Are you kidding me? John Podesta. And he's also a douchebag because of the whole email thing. And, Donald Trump keeps bringing him up and he gets all bent out of shape because he's just that way. But you know what? He's still a douchebag, and specifically for harassing people at gas stations in Colorado at number 5. Number 4 is DeRay. Did you guys see DeRay got upset because one of the apes in the new Planet of the Apes movie has a blue vest on? And so he thought that he was being portrayed in this movie with a blue vest. And, he was all freaked out because it's an ape. Okay. I hate to break it to him, but in the original, there was an ape in a blue vest. And he wasn't around then. It has nothing to do with calling him an ape or being racist in any way. It's just how they dress the ape. Sorry, DeRay, you're not that important, but you are a douchebag at number 4. Number 3 is Linda Sarsauer, and I think we've talked plenty about why she's a douchebag. But let's make sure you let her know why she's a douchebag if you see her out in public, because she loves that. She loves getting feedback from people who disagree with her, and she's a big old douchebag at number 3. Number 2 is David Brooks. Guys familiar with David Brooks? If you don't sit on Twitter all day and watch craziness, you may not know who David is. David decided that he was going to write an entire article about his friend. Now, this is important. His friend, who does not have a college degree. And apparently they went to this high-end sandwich shop. Stay with me. And the friend who didn't have a college degree got confused by all the fancy meat. Confused and freaked out and worried and, oh my God, what do I order? And he felt so bad for her. Now, not only is she an uneducated friend, but it's a female friend. so embarrassed for her that they went to have Mexican food because she knows what tacos are. You know, who does that? I don't write that kind of crap about people I don't like. Okay, I might. That's not fair. I write a lot of mean things. But I would never pretend that I have a friend, because, you know, David probably doesn't have a friend. But I would never say, hey, I took my really stupid friend to the sandwich shop, and she was so stupid because she doesn't have a college degree that she didn't know what this certain kind of bologna was, so we had to go have tacos. And I was sure as hell wouldn't write a column about it that everyone's going to read. What is wrong with these people? You know, I think I find myself asking that question in my office by myself 4 or 5 times a day. What is wrong with you? How do you think that's appropriate? Really? What was funny, though, side note, was people in social media just took him apart. And my Twitter wife actually started a hashtag, Make a Sandwich Scary, to kind of, I don't know, humiliate David for his dumbassery. And there were some great sandwiches. I remember it. And social media ate him alive. And you know what, though? He won't learn a damn thing from it. He'll take that same dumb friend who probably doesn't exist and write about her again to prove that he's somehow superior because he's an insecure douchebag at number 2. At number 1 is the media in general. Now, I say this on the heels of what happened with Donald Trump Jr. yesterday. If you live under a rock, I'll let you know that Donald Trump Jr. decided to release the email chain between himself and others and this Russian lawyer about this meeting. And he did this after he figured out that the New York Times was going to drop it on him, right? Now, if you're a Donald Trump Jr. fan, that's fine. If you applaud his transparency, all good. But here's where it gets kind of hinky is, well, was it illegal? Is it unethical? Definitely. It's just a mess on the right now. But even that is not as bad as the media's reaction to it. And this is becoming a theme with the media. Because after this happens, what does the media do? Of course, they smell blood, so they pounce like the little vultures that they are. But then you have these idiots out there complaining that Donald Trump Jr. scooped their story. I've been working on this story for a year. Oh my God, he just totally screwed up my story. Oh, really, asshole? You've known about this for a year and you didn't say anything? What were you waiting for? You knew before the election? What were you waiting for? There's an idiot from, I think, the New York Times who sat on Twitter and complained, and then other journalists were like, yeah, man, we're really sorry. We know you worked totally hard on that. We should send you some money for booze. This is the media, and they wonder why we hate them. Unbelievable to me that they are that self-centered, that they couldn't bother to report on what had happened. It was all about them and how Donald Trump Jr. scooped them. And that is why they are douchebags at number 1. And they probably will be douchebags at number 1 for a long time. I do have one honorable mention before we go to break, and that is the state of California. Now, I included that in this week's Top 10 Douchebags because no one's ever nominated an entire state before. Now, if you're familiar with California at all, you know there are several reasons why the state should be a douchebag. So I'm just going to leave it at that. They are an honorable mention. Congratulations, California. You're the first state to make the top 10 douchebag list. Okay, guys, we're going to take a shorter break or a longer break. I think this one's a little longer. When I get back, the one, the only, the Road Beer will be on live with me for his interview. So stay put and be good. I'll be right back.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at raharden.com. That's the World Wide Web at RAHARDIN.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Harden to see and purchase his books.
And I'm back. Thanks for sitting through the break, you guys. We are live here on KLRN Radio. I am your host of Foo, and you are on Foo Bar, One Nation Under Foo. And on the line, I have my brother, my long-lost brother, RB. RB, are you there?
Oh, hey, sis.
Hey, bro. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. Man, you had Austin Peterson, Alex Jones, Bill Clinton. I feel like I'm the Let's All Go to the Movie cartoon during the intermission.
Right? Oh, my God. I can't keep that up. What are you doing?
Oh, just nothing.
Did you hear the donkey in the background?
It's roasting out here on the farm.
Is it roasting on the donkey farm? Well, you know, Mom had a good idea when she left you there. She knew you were sturdy, man. She knew you'd be okay.
Well, it's great. Yeah, we're doing the training for the Tijuana shows out here. So
I don't need, nope, sorry, stop. Don't go there. Okay.
All right.
So, Road Beer,
yes.
RB.
Uh-huh.
You know, you have quite the following. Listen to that chat room. Good Lord. You've got about 44 people in this chat room that want to hear you. They're not here for me, clearly, because I don't have the harem. Do you have a shout out for your?
My harem. I love them all. I'm amazed I have followers. And then, you started the joke about the harem.
You keep blaming me for that. I don't think it was me.
Totally. You were being a yenta. Why are you single? And then I'm like, because nobody likes me. And you mentioned a harem, and it just kind of snowballed out.
Ew, you're right. Okay, so I did feel sorry for you, and I was a yenta. So good. That's good. But you've got You clearly have this harem thing, so you better give a shout out to your harem and your roadies.
Oh, the harem. I love you girls and guys. And then the roadies, Jessica, Dee, and Jenny, starting that account of my fan club that's just embarrasses the crap out of me, but I love them. So
I think it's great. You know, I have a lot of followers, and I don't have a fan club. The fact that you have a fan club, and they are a devoted fan club, that says a lot, man. So, you know, you joke about having followers, and you joke about being alone, but you really have a pretty good following for some guy who started out in Gamergate.
Yeah, just some rando from Gamergate that, you know, all of a sudden found himself on political Twitter. Yeah, that was an interesting transition.
Okay, let's talk about how this happened. You know, there were a lot of you guys in Gamergate who were fed up with feminism and crazy broads online. How did you get involved politically? Was it through that?
Well, it kind of started with that. I got involved with Gamergate originally because this game I was playing at the time that was a total train wreck got this glowing review from PC Gamer, like 8 out of 10. Mm-hmm. And it was that same week that Adam Baldwin started the Gamergate hashtag because there was proof of collusion between game developers and game journalists. And then it just became that big thing. And when it started out, it was a consumer revolt. Yeah. And it was just, look, you know, stop trashing our hobby. Give us some honesty in it. And then the SJWs got involved by pushing, you know, like they do with all media, and pushing diversity into media, which, you know, I'm okay with diversity, but diversity for diversity's sake is bigoted. I mean, one of the new shooter games that has come out, you know, you can play a black trans woman fighting Nazis in World War II because nothing matters anymore.
But, you know, and you have a good point. When it's diversity for diversity's sake, it really doesn't count. Okay, so the government says I have to have one black guy, one Filipino guy, and one tilt-a-wheel operator, so I'm going to hire those 3 because the government says I have to, not because I think they're the best people to hire for the job. So diversity for diversity's sake is garbage. Absolutely.
It's pure soft bigotry because it's saying you couldn't get that on your merits. Or, you know, in gaming circles, you know, you're not interesting enough for us to build a video game around. You know, and there's a lot of games where your avatar doesn't matter. If you want to be trans, fine, but don't go messing with historical context or trashing the story just for the case of diversity.
Right.
And that's where, you know, what a lot of Gamergate was too. And then it started to morph. And I mean, Milo was in it, and you know, Milo did some good for it.
He did.
And then guys like Cernovich and Vox Day, they started getting involved in it, and that's when I decided it's time to check out, because this isn't the consumer revolt anymore. This is just fighting sock justice. And while as fun as that is, you know, our operations for contacting advertisers and boycotting, you know, publications, that got sidetracked for, hey, let's go bash Randy Harper.
Right.
You know, right. So, and again, that's fun, but that wasn't why I was in the movement. So I started backing away from the tag, and it was around June 15th of 2015 that the fight was pretty much the same, but that's when Trump announced his presidency, and I said, okay, this can't be.
Right.
This can't be. I'm going to just focus all my social media efforts on trying to prevent that from happening, and unfortunately it did.
I'm going to peep in really here quick. But when you, when Trump was running and he announced he was running as a Republican, did you identify with a political leaning? Were you independent? Were you libertarian? Were you a liberal? Well, I mean, what about it? What about him specifically, besides the fact that he came off as a lunatic? Because I saw that speech. Was there something politically at that time, or did it just freak you out? I mean, what was the key there?
It freaked me out, and then listening to him talk, he was just so damn authoritarian and everything. You know, police state, and you know, since we all need to have labels, I'm a constitutional minarchist, and that's
okay. That's your label.
That if I have to pick a label, that's the closest. Pick a label. That's the closest one to it, and I am just so resistant to authoritarianism. And he was just the left with a big R painted on it. So, and this is everything I had been fighting in Gamergate. So it was a natural transition.
Sure. And I think that makes a lot of sense for him. But, you know, a lot of other guys in the Gamergate realm saw Trump as, I don't want to say as an excuse, but kind of a doorway to go after that social justice movement in the even bigger way. Because a lot of the alt-right came from Gamergate.
Well,
yes. And I'm not trying to say you guys were all Nazis or whatever, but they suddenly had this guy, this guy running for president who was against the same things they were, and he gave them a platform. Well, that's what it felt like.
Well, the way I look at it is the reason why Trump got so much Gamergate support and so much support from just nerds in general was that you had Milo, who was a charismatic huckster. I mean, a lot of us saw him for what he was. But he's charismatic. He's a Breitbart tech editor. He's the one who released the dirt on Game Journal's Pro email server that showed collusion with the industry. Sure. And so Milo jumped on the Trump train. And then you had guys like Cernovich and Vox Day who jumped on the Trump train. They could have gone for Jill Stein, and half of Gamergate would have gone with them.
That's right.
I mean, they were just following these people who they saw as, hey, here are e-celebs who pay attention to me. They follow me. They retweet me.
Yeah.
I'm with them. So if they're with Trump, I must be for Trump. And that's where I think a lot of the GG movement jumped on with Trump.
And I think you bring up a really good point in that whether or not you like Milo or Cerno or any of those folks, what they really do well and what they've always done well is interact with the little guy. There are a lot of accounts out there who have bazillions of followers who think their poop doesn't stink and they don't interact with people. So that's a really good point. That's something I hadn't really thought about. They're very human and approachable, and that's really a good idea. I mean, you don't think about it, but there are a lot of people out there in the political movement who think they're too good to talk to their followers. So that's interesting.
And that's we all love Rick Wilson, we all love Red Steves and those guys, but it's like you go completely fangirl if they are to your meme.
Right.
But, and it's like when you got those guys like Milo and Cernovich and everything, you could chat with them for 5-10 minutes about Sarkeesian or whatever, and and they're there for you, and it's kind of that's what the populist movement is it speaks to those people who feel outcast from society, and because these are e-celebs who have written a book about static electricity or how much they love cocaine and big black cock, that's where I identify with this person, and so that's how the alt-right got jumped in with, or at least that's how gamers became to identify with alt-right. And
I know I didn't say you couldn't say the C word, but don't say the C word, man.
Okay.
I knew it was going to happen.
I'll put that on my big note right after the S word and the F word.
The C word, any of them. No, that was funny. But I think you brought up a really good point. It's funny, though, like when Ted Cruz will retweet something I've written, I friggin' it's like Elvis, I have a heart attack about it. Yeah. That's a great point about there are some of these names like Steve's who you just, oh my God, he acknowledged me.
Right.
Yeah,
he touched me. It's like that scene from what was it, the original Running Man, when Jesse Ventura punches that fan in the face. It was, oh my God, he touched me.
Well, you bring up the Running Man, and we look a little bit like that these days. That's an interesting. Yeah. But
we're in our dystopian future. We just haven't had the nukes yet.
We need the nukes and the criminals running in pretty running jogging suits. I don't honestly, and I don't remember how I came across you, but it feels like I've talked to you forever. And it also feels like if there's something out there, you're very fair. You're very unbiased in your political opinions. Do you find that are people more accepting of you, or do they have problems with you when you're out there? Because you have people on the left you also follow and people on the right. Do you think that's more difficult with Republicans now, or is that something that, what do you think about your followers being all over the board?
Well, I think that not to, get involved in my own crapulence here, but I think it just speaks to being honest. Is that people want honesty out there, and that's why you have the followers you do. Is you're honest, and you've got followers on the left too. Like CJ's a big fan of yours, and he's one of the most liberals I know. Yes, and it just goes with being fair. We lean right, but we're also pragmatic and practical, saying our side isn't awesome either. And while I lean right, not politically, but not socially, more economically than anything else, then I mean, when it comes to social issues, I don't care if you're gay. It doesn't matter. You know, be miserable like the rest of us. Just stay out of my face. And so,
and you pay for it.
I have some followers who all of a sudden, you know, like they'll follow me based off of the worst was talking about Cernovich a few weeks ago. He retweeted me, so I had.
I remember.
It was actually Instapunter you retweeted me, Instapunter retweeted you, and then Cernovich retweeted. So then,
so it's my fault.
Yeah, it's always your fault.
It's always my fault.
You know, as much as Mom loves you, she acknowledges it's always your fault.
No. She said you'd say that. Mom said you could say it was my fault, and she said to tell you no, it's always your fault. It is not my fault, but go ahead.
But every now and then I'll pick up followers from that and from something like that. And then for 2 weeks afterwards, my mentions are destroyed by, oh, my God, you're a liberal commie, or oh, my God, you're a right-wing nut job. It's like, well, you follow me. You should know this by now. I retweet what's fun. I pass on what I find funny because we can all laugh at each other. And if we can't laugh at ourselves and laugh at each other, what's the point of being on social media?
Right. Well, what's interesting, and I don't know if this happened with you, but when the primaries are going on and I was so vocally anti-Trump, I had all these liberal people who started following me. And I'm like, you guys, I'm a conservative, just FYI. And I'm like, oh, whatever, you hate Trump. Yay, you're awesome. And then I started talking about gun issues, or I started talking about abortion, or, you know, like talked about conservative things. And suddenly they were freaking out that I was a conservative. And I'm like, hey, I told you. And I have a lot of that. And I think that goes back to the idea of if we're just honest, none of it really matters. And I think the biggest piece of it is I think all Americans kind of want the same things. We all want to be happy and safe and healthy and live our lives. But it's the how we do that that gets us in fights.
Well, exactly. It's most of everything boils down to It's how you get there. And Heineken had a great 3-minute commercial last year where they would put the two most polar opposite people in a room together where they had to build a bar and they had all the instructions and everything. And it's like, you know, you had a trans and a steel worker and all these things, people who would not sit down and have a beer with each other. And then once they completed building the bar together, they served them both a Heineken, and then they realized, hey, we're not that different. You know, they'd show them the interview of the other person and what their opinions were on gay marriage or whatever. And that basically, you're right. We're all inherently the same. It's just how we get there. We all want the same things. We all just want to be left alone.
Well, I think for the most part that's true, but there are some people, and please, if you're a liberal in the chat, sorry, I think there are some people who don't want to be left alone because freedom is scary, and making choices you screw up, it's scary. There is risk in being free, and I think there are some people, and there are probably some people even on the right who feel like someone needs to tell them what to do. And I think our biggest challenge is if you're an independent, or what did you say, a constitutional minarchist?
Minarchist, yeah. The minarchy, that's the night watchman state. That's where the government just handles military, treaties, judges, police, and fire. You know, and you'll get ANCAPs who think that, well, all of that can be handled by, you know, the private industry. Right. Yes, it can, but these are not things that I want to trust to the highest bidder. You know, all of a sudden, I don't want to find my military skating to the other country because they kicked him in a couple extra bill.
Sure. You know? So you're just like, those are the things. Otherwise, would you consider yourself an anarchist? If I'm going to give you a label.
Yeah, minarchy it's in the tent of anarchy, which is in the tent of libertarian. But libertarian, they're courting the ANCOMs now. Anarcho-communists and anarcho-socialists to broaden their numbers, and that's what Gary Johnson was basically trying to appeal to on the stump. And you know, it's in my side. We look more at Austin Peterson. I know a lot of people are disappointed that he went GOP, and rather than libertarian. Well, I've heard some rumblings, and my thing is that I understand for the practical nature of it that the LP isn't going to give him money. You know, he's not going to be able, and I saw just before I came on, he was $1,500 away from getting his $100K to run against McCaskill. And so that's kind of like, I don't think the GOP would have given that money, and he's going up against the LP would have given him that money, and he's going up against a GOP candidate too. Which, this is why I'm like, I don't know if that was a good idea, but I understand pragmatically why he did it.
I think it makes sense, and it was interesting. Right after the LP decided that they were going to pick Johnson and Weld, it was like stoner and gun guy, anti-gun guy, that I was furious because the Libertarian Party was like my last hope because I was already lost with Republicans. I needed someone, and I knew Peterson was a constitutional guy. And I remember it was right after, and I'm so subtle in social media, and I was kind of throwing a fit, and I said, what were you thinking? Why would you do this? And I had a Libertarian.
I think you were live tweeting the convention.
We may have been. But I was really pissed, and I went after it. I said, what are you thinking? And this guy said, we don't want you conservatives taking over our party.
Yeah, I remember we had that conversation in Big Guns. You and I were talking about that because I showed you that tweet from somebody at LP National.
Yeah, it was infuriating to hear that from, hey, you guys really had a chance here with Peterson, who I got to interview 2 weeks ago, and he was so rad. But anyway,
I know you so fangirled on that.
I so fangirled. I'm such a fangirl. Austin Peterson is like political hotness, like next to Justin Amash. Those guys, yum. But it was so frustrating because there was finally an opportunity to really make a movement. And they didn't. So when I heard that Austin was going to go GOP, I was like, hell yeah. Finally, he's going to key into a group that can support him. But he is going up against a biggie who's been in place a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to be interesting. But I think talking to him, he sounds a lot like you. And that economically he leans right. But socially it's kind of like, well, none of my business. That's who he is, and he's a statesman. I think that will speak to a lot of people.
I think so too. I think that some elements in his past might hurt him, but it's especially since Napolitano came out as a truther. That's just kind of please disassociate yourself from him. But so I wish him the best, and I hope that he can get in with those GOP guys like Amash and Lee and. I'll begrudgingly say Cruz, and try to take the party back.
Cruz is a good cat. There are things about him that I'm like, oh, don't do that. Why did you say that? No, please don't do that. But there are things about him that are also political hotness. I wouldn't say Austin Peterson, Justin Amash hotness, but there's something about Cruz that he's willing to kind of be, put his foot in there and say, hey, F off. Now, when he came out and he supported Trump, even though Trump had basically said his dad helped kill JFK and he trashed his wife, why did you do that? No. But we need him.
Acknowledge we're in a post-factual world before you jump into the ship, we
need him, and we need Lee, and we need Rand, and we need these guys who are willing to say no from the right.
Right.
Because what's going on is just more big government progressive BS, and even if it's a Republican, it's the same deal.
Right. I mean, you can still be a progressive and be a Republican. I mean, it's the GOP and the DNC right now. It's just slow boat or fast boat. What's going to get you to the same status destination?
Right.
And you got guys like, you got those other guys who are jumping off the ship, but they're still getting towed in the rowboat behind them. So.
Oh, dude. Okay, I've got people in the chat. I got to ask you a couple questions. So.
All right.
One person wants to know, so what's up with those lewds? That's Art Vandelay.
Never get enough of them. Never get enough. And by enough, I mean any.
So he's saying send lewds. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any to share.
All right, and then let's see. I'm going through here. I'm lost. There were so many questions, and
your chat just blows up with everybody trying to get in a question right now.
They are. Well, I know some of your harem and your roadies were asking me to ask you about your preference of hair color.
Well, it.
I don't know why.
There's no safe way for me to answer that. I mean, I've made my affinity for gingers known, but everything after that is case by case.
No bunny leaves.
It's like I said around New Year's. I am exclusively dating redheaded Asians because, as if my options weren't limited enough, I'm going to just hyper focus on that, so that way my celibacy seems self-imposed.
Self-imposed, yeah, that works for me. Paul, thank you. I'm just reading through the chat. People are they've lost their minds. I guess the main reason to have you on, besides to kind of keep pushing this idea that you're my brother,
right,
is so people can have a chance to hear the guy behind the tank.
Right.
And I guess I can give you, what do you want people to take away from your brief moment on the show tonight, besides lewds and the donkey farm?
I just...
I'm going to put you on the spot.
Be honest with yourself. I mean, just, when you see something, just say, is that really worth retweeting? Because I see so many people I follow and so many people whose opinions I respect retweeting Jack Prilosek or Cernovich. It's just like, just because you hate Hillary, that was 6 months ago. That's over. We're done with that. Let her die in peace. Yeah. And just focus on what's wrong with us now. Fix us. Fix our side, air quotes, side of it. And just... that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make people laugh at our own absurdity.
And I think you're doing a good job of that. Let's see. Freedom Reconnection wants to know if you can make someone Asian. I said no. Then this person sent you a photo. You should look at this picture of a ginger Asian gentleman in the chat room.
No.
Yeah, you're missing out. Hey.
But that is kind of similar to my beard, but make it salt and pepper.
So bizarre. Your followers. Honestly, I'm giving you a hard time, but I'm going to give you props. You take a lot of crap from me, and then, you're very humble about all these people that follow you. I got to give you props. It's not easy.
I don't deserve a single one of them. I was looking at. I tried to run a Twitter audit on myself not too long ago just to see how many fakes I had following me, and it defaulted back to August of 2015 was the last time Twitter audit ran a Twitter audit on me, and I would have to pay more to do a new one. So bag that. Right. And I only had 800 followers since then. And I know since you and I started interacting on Twitter, which I think I caught you at the tail end of your involvement in Gamergate too, because you were kind of in there, but not really.
Well, I hated Randy Harper. I thought she was awful. And she and I kind of went round and round, and she threatened me, and it was ugly. And, the Gamergate guys liked it because here's another woman telling her to shut up. Right. But it didn't do me any favors. But, yeah, probably at that point is when we probably crossed paths.
Right. And, So, but it was just, I forgot where I was going. Anyway, so I ran the audit, and I had 800.
Right.
And now I'm just about at $4,000. And then I'm amazed I had 800 to begin with. From Gamergate, much less. I don't deserve my followers. I really don't.
Mom said the same thing. Mom was shocked how many people bother following you.
Yeah. Well, she
loves me.
Her favorite, so
I know what are you gonna do, dude. Tell people how they find you.
I'm at the Road Beer on Twitter, and that is it because I despise all social media, but I love me some Twitter.
You love you some Twitter. Okay. Yeah. I think Twitter loves you too. I can see that from my chat room. Okay.
It tolerates me.
We all tolerate you. Mom even said you'd say that. Okay, I'm going to let you go back to the donkeys. Thank you for coming on tonight. You're welcome, bro. Get out of here with that. All right, talk to you later. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Oh, so there he was. You guys have all heard him. Yay! Now, before you go anywhere, stay put, because next, Grouchy is talking to Musket and Southern Keeks. I would say Kim Ross. I always use her wrong name. They're going to do a whole show on pro-life, so stay put because it's going to be a fantastic show. You guys, hey, you roadies and you harem out there, I teased you so hard today, and you kept your sense of humor and you showed up. Thank you for being here on the Foo. It was so much fun seeing all of you in the chat. It has been such fun. I am always humbled that you make time for me, all of you who show up. Again, stay put and listen to Grouchy talk to Patriot and Kim. I'm going to say Kim Ross. I wasn't screw up her name. All right. Have a good night, you guys. I will be back next week with the Misfits talking conservative women. You take care. I'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.